a lot of times right now what frustrates me with companies is almost this idea of we don't know what to do, we're stuck, right? But it's like this situation, we've tackled it so many times in different iterations. I talk about women, female participation, especially, and right now the situation I'm talking about is specifically the crisis or the pandemic of Black employment in this country, right? And both in company culture, microaggressions, why people don't stay, why they leave, the lack of promotion and everything. And I'm going to give an example of what international companies do when they go into countries that are majority Black. So I'm going to give you the example of Shell and how they get their white employees to stay in a country that is like literally 98% Black, if not 99% Black. Here's what they do. When expats arrive into the country, the entire organization already have training structures. They have already been set up. So as a Nigerian, I was educated about different cultures, about, hey, this is what American culture is like. This is what British culture is like. This is what Australia is like, la, 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 la. There is so much focus on education about cultural nuances. There is so much instances where every single month you have to do like training, you have to do all these team building, cultural building activities to assimilate it to Western culture so the Westerners can feel better, right? So, and this is why the expats stay. So they come in there and it's already a warm and friendly place because I'm already mindful that, hey, context and all of this, and you don't mean this and you don't mean that and whatever, right? Now, what I don't understand is why those models and the same company that do these things overseas and prep people, and he's been very successful in keeping people who, coming into an organization is a cultural shock, staying and feeling part of the team and growing and being promoted and being developed, why they can't take the same infrastructure and ecosystem in here to properly train people on nuances on culture, make the culture a shared culture. So you go to Shell Nigeria, it is not a Nigerian culture, it is literally a shared culture, right, within that company. And why we're not able to just lift those same frameworks that have actually worked well when it's the reverse, and do it here, that's a point that's mind-boggling. So I give that example because that's a good example. It just happens in the reverse. And now we just need to take that model, put it here and then flip and, do those same things because we've seen that they work and they work very effectively in retention. And since they started that, I think this program started probably about 25 years ago, the retention of expat workers grew exponentially because they felt at home, they felt welcome, they were in a culture that was accepting of them, which is one of the biggest problems we're screaming here in corporate America. It is a culture that is not accepting of other people, and it's worked. So I'll give that example, even though it's not an American context, because that's the success story of how people have been able to merge cultures together and they've been able to work together really well and build and grow.